Alright, so I am going to roast coffee today. First, I'm going to roast some decaf. This is an Ethiopian Swiss water processed decaf. This is what that looks like. It's kind of a smaller bean. Ethiopians are often smaller, but other African beans can be really big. So the first thing I do, 908 grams of green coffee. Why 908? 908 is 2 pounds of coffee. Now, I won't yield 2 pounds because coffee loses weight as you roast it. Okay? Got my AirScape lids. So when I store these, all the air gets pushed out, keeps it fresh as long as possible. Alright, here we go. Now while that is going through its initial phase, I'm going to prepare labels. So there's coffee bags, brand label. That's how I make my bag. Pretty simple. So if we look at it right now, it looks like it is yellowing already. You can't see that, but the color of the bean has changed definitely from like a grassy pale green to a yellow color. And this what you see coming out of the back is actually steam more than it is smoke. So if you put your hand over it, you can, like, your hand literally becomes damp because there's moisture being released from these coffee beans. And in just a few more minutes, about 3.5 to 4 minutes, we're going to start hearing cracking coming out of the drum, and that is what coffee roasters refer to as first crack. And that is the bean actually expanding and releasing gas, and as that happens, this will become more substantial. So while this continues to develop, I get the next batch ready to go. So right now we're at 190 degrees Celsius. We're at 8 minutes and 25 seconds. And first crack for me happens certainly after 195 degrees and often closer to 200 degrees Celsius. And so that's what I'm watching for. I'm going to listen for first crack here. In the next minute we should start hearing that. So right now, I'll check these beans right before first crack, and they're definitely brown in color, but splotchy, not a lot of consistency in the color. You can see a lot of cracks and grooves because the outer layer of the coffee bean turns into chaff and it peels off, and you can see a lot of that around this time. So I'm listening. I heard a crack. There's a couple cracks, so I'm going to mark my time. So right now, if you listen carefully, there's a rolling crack. So all of the beans are beginning to expand. And so if I want to do a light roast, I'm going to take these off in the next 45 seconds or so, but we're going to go into medium or like a full city type of roast. Not quite. a dark, and yeah, it should be super good. So I hear it right now. So what I do at this point is I like to turn down the temperature to slow down this process. And as I said, at first crack, this substantially changes. A lot of smoke just came out of here, smoke and steam, and that's because of how much gas is being released from the beans right now. So after first crack, this next phase is called development, and this is really where you're honing in your flavor. So if you pull the beans sooner, like right now, we should be at like a good city roast, heading into City Plus. There's a lot more consistency in the color. It is darker, and at this stage you're going to draw out, the sooner you pull the beans, you're going to draw out a lot of fruity flavors, like the sweetness and things like that. The tartness or acidity really comes out earlier in the roast, and as you let it develop, it becomes more chocolatey, and a lot of those acidic light flavors kind of get developed, and it becomes more rounded. So I'm coming up on 210 degrees Celsius with a development time of around 2.5 minutes, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. So this is, you know, well before second crack when we get into a dark roast, but this is right where I want to be. So now if you get a good look at the beans, there's a real consistent color. You can actually hear some of the beans still cracking. Close that up so that it can preheat for the next batch. That loud noise that you hear is a fan that is drawing air through the beans to cool them more quickly. It's about 40 degrees or 45 degrees outside, so these are going to cool within a couple of minutes. The next thing that I do is let this get up to temperature so that I could do it again, and then I package the beans and ship them out. So anyway, that's how I roast coffee. Hope you guys enjoyed this. It was a little bit interesting or informative, and hope to do these a lot more. So thanks.